Hello, let me introduce the Amensolar Hybrid Inverter Split Phase for USA market. Now let me describe the details of this machine. This machine is unique design for the North of American market. It's split phase. Now let me show you the details of the inner tunnels. Please have a look. In this port, there are two. One is for connect the battery. One is positive. Another is negative. Connect the battery. On this board called communication board, there is a CAN and RS485 port. It can communicate with my machine with a battery. So when you connect the battery and the inverter with long cables by these two ports and the communication port. This side there are two ports. One is called CN2, another is called CN7. The CN2 is connect the CT. The CT function is detects the information from the grid. Up of these three ports, there are two CAN ports. This two CAN port is used for parallel the machine. If you want to increase the total capacity of the full system, you can connect these two ports with each inverter together. There are some special port is connected with the generator. It's very important. When you connect the generator, you can connect the dry 1A and dry 1B, this place. Now let's move to the next place. There are some ports. The first position is PV. We have four MPPT. 4 is negative, 4 is positive. Besides that, there are three ports, L1, L2, and N, that is connected with generator. Besides the generator, this port is the grid port. Connect the grid to the machine. Besides the grid, there are two loads. One is load 1. The second is load 2. Load 1 means the important load, and the load 2 was connect the important load. We can have a look. In this place, there is a toggling. This is a Wi-Fi toggling. You can through the toggling to check the details information of the machine working situation. We can have a look, full look of this body of the machine. There are 4 fans for cooling the machine when it was working. There are 2 buttons. This button is called PV switch. When you connect the PV, you should turn it on. And the RSD button was used for turn on and off the machine. This is the introduction of the machine first. Now let me turn on the machine, show you some display, LCD display situation of each options for you. Now connect the grid and turn on the machine by the RSD button. Because we have not connect our PV in our office, so let me show you some details of the display without PV. Now, next step, let me turn on the battery of my system. You can have a look on the display. There is a warning that is A03, that is battery disconnect. We need wait about 1 minute. When you reach 1 minute later, the inverter can work, communicate with battery. This alarm will disappear. Now let me show you. You can have a look. 1 minute later, the warning. Now you can hear some noise. You can hear some voice. The machine is working. On this display, let me introduce some situation of each symbol. First one is PV. You can show the PV situation. Because in my system not connect the PV, so the PV current is 0 ampere without any power in this situation. Let's back. The grid tab, you can have a look. Because we are in China, so the voltage is 220 voltage. We have not connect any load at this moment, so there is only a little current like this 0.7 that is used for the machine work itself. Now let me show you the battery working situation. Because we just now connect the battery with the machine work together, so in the battery page, you can see the battery's situation. My battery is 51.2 voltage, and the current, this is also provides the machine itself. You can see the battery's situation. At this moment, the SOC is 56%. The battery temperature is 25 degrees. Because we choose the other battery first working situation, so the battery was charging by grid at this moment. That's why the power is minus watts. And the under of this page, this data showing the charging power and discharging power per 1 day and the total situation. On the right hand, there are some data showing from the battery itself BMS state. Now let me show you the load situation. I connect a load here. Let me turn on of the load. When the load is turned on, we can showing some voltage and the current and the total power that is about 1000 watts at this moment. This is a load working situation. By the way, if you choose the split phase type in North of American area, there will be showing 2 loads working situation. Because we are in China, so the load is only 1 voltage and 1 current. Let's back to the main page. This place is a generator data situation. Because we do not connect the generator, so this data is all 0 and all a little date showing on the display. Now let's focus on the inverter itself. The inverter's working situation is very well at this moment. You can see the VB bus and VM bus, that is all Chinese standard, showing the inverter itself temperature, outside and inside temperature. At this moment, the system's situation is with battery and with the grid together. So on the display, the system state is battery and grid working together. The inverter's state is, because we connect grid, so it's showing the grid. If you do not connect the grid, it will showing off grid. The battery situation is discharge situation. There is a little data that is 6 mA leak current. You can, from the main page, to check all the data of the PV, battery, load, grid, and the generator situation. By the way, with the inverter itself data at the same time. It's very clearly on this display. That's all. Let me show you how to set up my machine. Please closer. Let me show you on the screen. On the upper left position, there is a symbol. We can enter by this. The machine's password is 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, into the setting page. Let me show you one by one. The first is a system working mode set. On this page, there are showing 3 work modes. One is self-consumption. Second one is peak shift. The third one is battery priority. As for this button, that is called backup enable. Usually, we take it take it at any working situation. Should choose this backup enable. On this place, there is a grid power limited. What is this mean? That means limit about the machine to the grid. We can set it as your request. For example, we can set it 1000 watt. Okay, and save it. It's okay. But this function only available under the self-consumption situation. Another important point is when you choose these 3 working modes, the advanced mode should disable. We should choose the disable buttons. Now let's move to the right page. The right page, there is a special work mode that is called advanced mode. Under the advanced mode, there are 3 options. First one is sell first. Second is limit consumption. The third one is zero export. As for the meanings of these 3 items, you can check our user manual carefully. If you choose the advanced mode, there is another advanced setting. We can enter it. In this page, there is a title of this page called time of use table. In this page, the time can be split 6 slots. Under this situation, you can set each date as your request. Let me take a sample for you. You can set your time at your by your request. This is hours. For example, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The battery power, you can set the power from the battery or charge the battery capacity. For example, you can set is 3 kilowatts. Okay. And when you want to charge the battery, you can take the grid or the generator. Please pay attention to the SOC, this OC line. That means when you set a date, for example, 20 SOC, if the battery lower 20%, the grid will provide the power to the load. If the SOC of the battery over 20, then the battery will provide the power to the load. Under this table, the TOU enable. TOU is for the time of use for short. We should take it. And the grid ADOist, that just set is 2 or 5, that is okay. And another point means this page only support in time of use mode. If the time not set under this table, the battery situation is do not charge and do not discharge situation. After you set, you save it and change another page. In this page, there are 3 options. First one is charge by grid only. Second is PV charge only. Please pay attention to this two is only choose one when the full system working. The battery first, that means charge or discharge battery first. As for the details introduction, you can check our user manual as well. Below of this page, there is a CT power limited. That means the power from the grid, you can set the data as your request. For example, you want to get the power only 5 kilowatts from grid. You can set it and save it. This setting is finished. This setting is finished. This is the first page of the system setting. As for the TOU setting, that is a little complex. So we usually do not suggest you choose the advanced mode. The other 3 working modes can satisfy your working situation. Let's move to the next buttons. In this place, that is for the function when the machine parallel. For example, our machine can be only parallel max 3 units. If you want set the first as the master, you take it. Another machine, you set it slave, you choose it slave. And the common grid CT, usually if you parallel together, you take it As for the number address, that is usually dependent on the total quantity of each system. As this place, there is a charge current and discharge current that was for the parallel system to the battery. The CT ratio just not change it. Set is 1000 is okay. After you finish the set, save it as well. The third button is battery. Usually we recommend our machine work with lithium battery, so you choose a lithium type of the battery. Of course, if you do not want to communicate the battery and the machine, you can choose lead acid or other type of battery. But we usually recommend you choose a lithium. As for the communication way, we can use a CAN port, just like the first I introduced for you. The battery data can be read by the machine. Under of this line, there is a charge current. You can charge it. You can set it as your wish. For example, you can set it 50. And the discharge usually do not change anything. Make it 100% is okay. If the battery dead, you can take the battery awaken. But this button not used usually. After you set, save it as well. This is the battery tab and communication page. Under this place, you can set the battery grid DOD and the off-grid DOD. For example, when you want the battery provide power to the load, not connect the grid, you set this DOD as the battery's DOD. If you connect or disconnect the grid, all the power from the battery, you can set this place. There are two different ways. It's dependent. Disconnect grid or connect disconnect. After set as previously setting, after set you can save it. This is the battery part. As for the battery setting, let me explain about the battery part. When you choose a lithium battery and connect the grid at the same time, all the power from grid and the battery. If the battery DOD lower than 80%, all the power from the grid. But when off-grid situation, all the power from the battery. This data means if the battery's DOD lower 80%, the full system will be shut down. Let me show you the system setting work mode. On this page, you can see on the left there are 3 work modes. First one is self-consumption, second one is peak shift, third one is battery priority. The third one is advanced mode. We usually do not use this work mode, so let's focus on the left side. First one is self-consumption. The next page, we can see the PV tab. Usually, we choose independent. That means even though our machine have 4 MPPT to connect PV, that means you can choose 1 or 2, even 3, that is okay. The next page is date and time setting. If the data is not exactly, you can set it as your local time. Now let's back to the battery priority, the third one. The same page like the self-consumption, the PV type you can choose independent, and the same situation as date and time setting. Let's focus on the peak shift working mode. When you choose this working mode, you can enter the setting page. The first one is same as other two. The second page is same as the date and the time setting. Beside these two pages, there are another special page for the peak shifting mode. 3 time. You can choose the time when you want to charge the battery or discharge the battery. As for how to set the time and when you want to charge or discharge, you can check the details of our user menu. Let me introduce the second part of the setting. First, at the same situation, put the password into the machine. This place is a grid standard. We can see from this place, usually our machine was used as single phase. As for the split phase in North of America, due to we are in China, so we choose it a single phase, and the grid standard we choose CN. Now let me show you how to set it split phase. First, choose split phase options. Other items showing do not change it. This is normally voltage range and the frequency range can match the North American area grid standard. Now we choose the split phase, and you can choose custom or USA. Save it. It's setting OK. It's setting OK. At this place, we come back to the main page. We can see the load. Like I just introduced before, the load became load 1 and load 2. This is a grid part setting. Now let's back to the setting page. Grid, single phase, safe. Grid standard, channel, safe. This part is OK now. Another options is generator setting. Usually, if you connect the machine with a generator, you can choose it. Automatically is the top of two options, generator enable and the generator charge enable. Because in our office we do not connect the generator, so we do not show you how to set it. If you want set it by hands, you can choose the second line, general menu mode or general menu start and stop. As for this place data, that is mainly focused on the battery situation. For example, on this display, the SOC is 20%. If the batteries SOC lower than 20%, the generator will charge the battery. When the battery SOC reach 90%, the generator will stop charge the battery. This second line, charge current, you can set it 30 ampere, 50 ampere, that is all okay. Generator power usually match the machine's power. For example, 5 kilowatts or 80 kilowatts. As for the cooling time, you can usually set as 1 hour or 2 hours, that is okay. Max operating time is dependent on you. That is not the specification data. The last options is information of the machine. For example, this machine in my office, that is, power is 5 kilowatts. 5.0 K means 5 kilowatts. This is a machine's SN number. ARM and DSP is machine's firmware's version and the software version. When you upgrade the machine, if you need, this data will be changed. The next page, that is backlight enable. We usually take it. You can set it the percentage of the backlight brightness. For example, 15 or 20. That is all okay. Backlight time. In this place, we set is 180 seconds. That means if the machine not work after that time, the display will shut down. The third page of this option, under these options, there is a factory reset. We do not usually use this. These functions. That's all the brief introduction of the machine. If you have any other questions, you can connect our after sales or read the user manual before operate the machine or install the machine. Thank you.